Hey friends, today's video is a recap of the first trimester and things that were exciting about the first trimester and things that I won't miss being our final pregnancy. So if you want to hear the good, the bad, and just the reality of the first trimester, stay tuned for today's video. Give it a big thumbs up because it really does support our channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell to get notified when we upload every Monday and Thursday. So grab a cup of tea or cup of coffee and let's get to chatting. If this is our first time meeting, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. My name is Beck and I am currently a mum to three, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and we are currently expecting our fourth and final member of the Rashidies family, which is super exciting. But to be honest, when reflecting on the final first trimester, it definitely is one of the hardest trimesters out of all of them. There is some exciting stuff that I will miss, but there are definitely things that I am glad to say adios and won't be experiencing again. Let's start this video on the positives, the things that I'm actually going to miss about the first trimester, and the things that I'm no longer going to experience. And that is finding out that you're pregnant. It is such a beautiful, exciting, just thrilling moment in your life. Whether it be a month that you have actively tried to fall pregnant or a time where it has unexpectedly happened, seeing the 2 lines on your pregnancy test or reading the words pregnant really is just a thrill. There is an exhilarating rush that comes through your whole body, and that is the fact that you have successfully conceived a child, which is the most beautiful thing in the world. It's the start of you then carrying them and delivering them and getting to be just a part of their life. And the fact that we will no longer experience that, I will miss, but I am so thankful that I have been able to record the last 3 out of 5, and it's a really special moment. And the following moment that I am going to miss about the first trimester is telling your loved ones. There is just something so exciting about having this secret, this special news to share and seeing people's reactions. On our pregnancy journey, we have had different sorts of reactions. We have had the reaction of a rainbow baby and people celebrating with us. We have had this current pregnancy of people asking us,
was it planned?
and talking about the fact that it was. But either way, it is just something that is so exciting to get people's first response on the exciting news. I think it's going to be exciting to walk alongside my friends and family who are going to go through this pregnancy journey and getting to experience them sharing the news with me. And it is a little bit sad that I won't get to do it, but in saying that, I have been super blessed to be able to do it 5 times, which is incredible. Now, the reality of when pregnancy kicks in that I won't be missing probably outweighs those happy, joyous moments. For me personally, in this pregnancy especially, as a full-time working mom with 3 tiny humans earthside, my exhaustion in the first trimester was 100% real. There were many moments that I just struggled to get through the day, and as much as it's people's good intentions saying, I don't know how you do it, it's something that you just have to do. And it can be really wearing on your soul, knowing that it's so hard and people acknowledging it's hard, but nobody offering assistance. I got into kind of a bad habit with the kids in the afternoon that we'd come home from school, Phineas would do his afternoon sleep and the girls would just watch TV because I would literally fall asleep on the couch. We were having really easy meals and it was food that I could just cook up within like 20 minutes and serve. It was a season where I knew it wasn't going to last forever, but at the same time it was so hard to feel so exhausted. And it's just something that pregnancy does when you're trying to establish it personally that I have experienced, is it drains a lot out of you because your body is focusing so much on making sure that the little one within is stable and viable and just super comfy in their new home. This kind of goes hand in hand with the nausea that comes with first trimester. I had no idea in my first pregnancy that pregnancy nausea was different to normal nausea, because when you're not pregnant and you feel sick, you stick away from food because you don't want to vomit and throw everything up. However, when you're pregnant, it's best to feed yourself those carby, salty foods that are kind of plain, so that you are filling up your stomach and allowing yourself to have like a baseline so that you can continue functioning and eating throughout the day. So snacking was a big thing. I had a lot of cravings towards savory foods just because I think of the carbohydrates in them. I really just liked pastas and chips and plain pizzas. And something that really helped my morning sickness was eating sour lollies. For some reason, the sour coating on it would actually settle my stomach down, which was great. And I would be sucking on a lot of like peppermints to make sure that I had that freshness in my mouth. I found whenever my mouth was dry, which can be quite hard in winter and you're teaching, I would get a bout of nausea. So I was always sipping on tea or water and making sure that I wasn't getting dry to gag, which is absolutely unpleasant. And another thing that I guess is related to the nausea side of it is that I find in the first trimester, my immune system covers the baby and kind of forgets about me. As you can hear, I am a little bit sick and I'm currently sipping on some lemon honey tea because I have a sore throat. This is something I have experienced in every single pregnancy, no matter what the season. If it's a summer first trimester or a winter first trimester, I seem to get sick. And in today's climate, it's absolutely not the best thing to even have cold-like symptoms, let alone this. So I just try and keep on top of it and obviously have rest when I can, keep up my fluids and take Panadol when needed. Being constantly emotional, I find a bit of a struggle, to be honest, because I love to keep my emotions in check. And when I feel things really deeply. And throughout this whole first trimester, it feels like my heart is literally on my sleeve, and anything and everything that is sentimental really gets me upset. And like even thinking about the fact that this is the last time I'm doing my first trimester, it makes me sad, even though the last 13 weeks have actually been quite challenging. Knowing that I won't have to experience it again is such a juxtaposition, because I am excited that I don't have to do it again, but at the same time, closing a chapter is actually quite sad. And I guess if I wasn't sad about it, then that would be saying something, I guess. An early symptom for me in my first trimester that I usually experience later on is heartburn. And this is something that usually does kind of creep in the latter half of the second trimester and then definitely in the third. But for some reason, heartburn has kicked off quite early on, and I'm just maintaining it by having like a glass of milk or like a spoonful of ice cream, just anything that can really settle down my stomach so that I don't get that reflux feeling. And I have noticed that if I sleep on my right side, my heartburn is worse than if I sleep on my left. If you have experienced multiple pregnancies, have you found that your pregnancy symptoms have creeped into earlier trimesters and that you have started to shown a whole heap earlier? I know for me personally, I am super thankful that I have bought a whole heap of baggy smock dresses, because I have been able to hide my pregnancy pretty well at work because my dresses are so baggy, and it's not until I flatten my dress along my stomach that you can actually see my baby bump. But it has appeared quite early on in pregnancy, and then I just have to remind myself that it is the 5th pregnancy, 4th kid, and so my muscles are just going to be relaxed. And the fact that I've had 3 full-term babies and my babies are quite large and I'm quite small, it just, yeah, it has changed my body, and it's something that I need to remind myself not to be ashamed of, because there are definitely some days in this first trimester that I have just felt fat for some stupid reason. And I think it's because even though I feel sick and I feel tired and I have a heightened sense of smell and all those other typical pregnancy symptoms, because I'm not feeling bub moving and kicking in my stomach yet, I think I just feel fat rather than feeling like it's a baby bump. And because it's so small right now, it's like even now being 13, 14 weeks, it's the size of a cupcake. It's not big enough to be stretching my skin and making it cone shape, because I have had so many kids. My skin has stretched and retracted so many times that I do have a bit of a pouch. Is the reason why I guess I'm feeling fat rather than pregnant. So that's something that I'm not going to miss, is once this is finished, I can have a bit more self-care and I can focus on feeling good in my skin, because as thankful as I am that my body is doing exactly what it's created to do, to nurture and to grow these healthy babies, it will be nice to be able to look after myself for the remainder of my life. I am excited that we have moved on from the first trimester and that we are now in our second, and that with every week that passes by, that bub continues to grow stronger and healthy, and every week we are closer and closer to meeting it for the first time, which is super exciting. We are not finding out the gender once again. It was rather tempting to find out, but we are keeping it a surprise for the final time. So we will be definitely excited when Bob is safe and sound in our arms. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope it has encouraged you that if you are experiencing difficulties in your first trimester, you are absolutely not alone, and I pray that it will get better for you, even if it takes a little bit more time. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed watching it, please give it a big thumbs up. It really does support my channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell to get notified every Monday and Thursday, because this parenting gig doesn't come with a rule book. We only have each other. And I'll see you in my next video on Thursday. Bye.
I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again, but life is one big riddle.